Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be telling you guys the top 10 best ways to make money in Grand Theft Auto Online in 2018. So I'm making this video for two reasons. Number one, I want to do sort of a 2018 updated version. And number two, when I'm making this video, it's right before the next DLC. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are looking for lucrative ways to make extra cash in online. So this is going to be in order of what I think is best to worst. So with all the way, let's not waste any more time and let's get it started. All right, at the number one spot today, the import-export business. So the requirements for this are a CEO office and a vehicle warehouse. And you guys know how this works. Essentially, you source a vehicle, which ranges from standard to mid-range to top range, and then you do either a series of modifications or sell the car as is to a buyer. Essentially, you take a car, you store it, you potentially upgrade it, and then you sell it. And this is incredibly lucrative. Not only is it one of the more easier money-making methods, it's also one of the most fun, but it's also one of the most straightforward too, where really not a whole lot can go wrong. And probably one of the best parts about the import-export stuff is it, for the most part, can be done solo. Since you're only sourcing one car at a time, it doesn't help all that much to have other players with you. And I mean, you can use 3 other people to help you sell 4 cars at a time, but the way the cooldown period works is it's roughly the same weight, whether you do 1 at a time, like 1, 1, 1, back to back to back, or whether you do 4 at a time. So import-export, incredibly lucrative, one of the best money-making opportunities that you can take advantage of still to this day, over 2 years later and online. At the number 2 spot today, Heist. So I'm going to be talking about the original 5 Heist missions and then the Doomsday Heist missions. So in order to do the Doomsday Heist missions, you need a facility, and in order to do the regular heist, you need a high-end apartment. These heists are incredibly valuable, especially when you do them for the first time, or when you try and complete one of the challenges. So whether you do them all in order, whether you do Criminal Mastermind, these can net you millions upon millions of dollars. Now, I'd say the payouts for the original heist are a little bit better than the Doomsday Heist, but the Doomsday Heist ones are a whole lot more fun, in my opinion. And you get to unlock trade prices for some of the more valuable vehicles that are in the game. So the heist missions are amazing. The only problem with this is obviously something you can't do solo. For the original 5 heist missions, you need 3 other people. And for the Doomsday Heist missions, you need at least 1 other person to go along with you. So with that being said, it's not the best solo money-making method, but it is the best in terms of overall. So I really like doing both the heist missions. The number 3 spot today, the Gunrunning bunker sales. So the reason I like this a lot is because for the most part of this, it's passive income. So once you have everything established, and it should be self-explanatory, the only thing you need to do the gun running stuff is a bunker, and then you can start basically selling your supply. You're just going to have the people inside of your bunker start producing the weapons, and then when it gets to a certain point, you sell it. Now, there is a little bit of strategy to it, like if you only want to keep it to one vehicle, or if you want to not get a specific type of sell mission, maybe the ones involving the Dune FAV. There is ways in which you can make it a little bit easier, but the bunker stuff is one of the easiest stuff ever. Pretty much it's just wait. It's pretty much just wait till it gets to a certain stock, and then you end up selling it whenever you want. It's really easy money. Now, again, the only problem with this, and the reason I think it's a little bit worse than the import-export, is because this does work way better with more people, and you are kind of at the mercy of how long it takes to the NPCs to build and source the weapons for you. Whereas with the import-export stuff is you can get the car as quickly as you can, so it's kind of in your own hands, which I think is a little bit better. At the number 4 spot today, what I think is slightly worse than the gun-running bunker stuff is the biker businesses. Now, for the biker businesses, you're going to need a MC clubhouse, and then you can choose between 5 different businesses. Now, in my opinion, the 2 to 3 best would be the cocaine lockup, methamphetamines, and then either the counterfeit cash or the weed farm, depending on what you want. The cocaine is by far the best. And what you're going to do here is it's very similar to the gun running bunker stuff. The only difference is each business is a little bit different and has a little bit of a different cost, which is why I'm putting it slightly worse than the gun running stuff. But the process is still the same. You can either source the supplies yourself, or you can wait for them to come in, and then you just wait for a certain amount and you sell them. Again, the reason these two, the bunker stuff and the biker stuff, are being put below something like import export is it really does require more people. It's harder to do these solo than sourcing and selling a car. And you can get some pretty tricky ones as well. The motorcycles aren't the steadiest, and there's a sell mission that involves like big UPS trucks. It's just horrible. These are some of the worst sell missions of all time. The gun running ones are a little bit easier, so that's why it's ahead of it on this list. It's still a nice, lucrative way to make money, but it's a little bit more challenging, and it's a little bit unnecessary in my opinion. The number 5 spot today, CEO crates. So this was introduced with the finance and felony DLC. And the reason this is at the number 5 spot behind some of the other businesses is for a couple reasons. Number 1, it gets boring pretty quickly. Now you could say the same thing about maybe the import-export DLC, but instead of sourcing different cars and different varieties, you're literally just finding packages. And to me, that's not all that exciting. Even though you're sourcing different things, they still are in the form of packages, which is not the greatest in my opinion. Number 2, it actually requires you to have a CEO office and it requires you to have a separate warehouse. So it's a little bit more costly than some of the other things we've seen. And number 3, the payout isn't all that amazing because you have to pay an upfront cost. Now, I know you have to pay an upfront cost for other stuff like biker supplies, but with this, it's really expensive, like $18,000 per. So I just don't think this is the best one you can do. I think import-export is a better version of CEO crates, but if you're bored and you want a chance at one of the coolest parts about this money-making feature, which is like the rare special items, you can, and it is sort of fun, but it's not my first choice. The number 6 spot today, VIP jobs. So I'm talking about the things you can do like sightseer, privacy prevention, headhunter. These are things that you should totally do. Now, I don't recommend doing them solo, like that's the only thing you do, but instead what you should do is do these jobs while you're waiting on your bunker to resupply or after you've just sold an import-export vehicle. You shouldn't do them completely alone, but what you should do is use them to kind of fill in the gaps between the inefficiencies between some of the other money-making methods that we have in the game. Because not everything is 100% efficient. There is going to be downtime. That's just how Rockstar sort of like balances the scales a little bit. So use those VIP jobs to fill in the gaps. The number 7 spot, double money opportunities. So this is going to come based on purely Rockstar's what they want to do. And you'll see all of this on the newswire. Now, some of the things we've talked about, like the bunker stuff, that might be thrown into double money opportunities, but that would include things like adversary modes, races, transform races, stunt races, stuff like that. If it's double money in RP, it's typically pretty lucrative. Contact missions, for example. Without the double money in RP, I wouldn't really recommend doing any of the things Rockstar probably have available, but I've seen people make a ton of money just because they've taken advantage of a double money in RP opportunity, which in my opinion is really cool. And these change out nearly every week, which means you'll have plenty of opportunities to dive into potentially a lot of good money-making opportunities. The number 8 spot today, free mode activities. So this is anything you can do without a loading screen, but isn't necessarily a big business. So what I mean by that is robbing liquor stores, taking advantage of I guess premium race wouldn't be it, but the time trial is something you can do. Anything you can do in free mode. It might be the free mode activities as well. This isn't going to be a lot of cash like bounty hunting, but it could be enough and it could get you a couple $100,000 here or there. So I do think it's worth it to take advantage of some of the opportunities that do occur in free mode, even though they are pretty small. If you can make them convenient and on your way to doing other tasks, you might as well. The number 9 spot, daily objectives. So I know the daily objectives doesn't sound like a great thing to do, but it really does build up. If you do them for a month or 30 straight days, you get $500,000, which you might not say to yourself is all that much. But if you were to do that for a full year, where you do it for 30 straight days and then it resets, that's $6 million that you've got right there just for doing some simple daily objectives. So I definitely think it's worth your time to do them. Some of them are really easy. Some of them are a little bit more tricky, like doing like a rally race, which no one seems to want to do. So I understand that, but it might actually be worth the grind, especially if it only takes you 5 or 10 minutes to do, for at the end of the year to come out $6 million richer. That's a pretty good deal. Okay, and at the number 10 spot today, this is sort of like your last resort, but I'm going to say shark cards. Now, shark cards are not the best value in the game. I totally get that. However, I do believe that Rockstar is trying to make it a little bit better by doing some of the bonuses and promotions that they do for certain players, where they'll give you, 40% back if you buy a shark card, or they'll give you 120% extra. That's when I think you should take advantage of stuff like that. Yes, I do believe they're overpriced. Yes, I think they're not worth it in general. But in an emergency situation, and if you're one of those people who do have a targeted sale, they can be quite valuable. And if you can get a good deal on them from maybe a website or something like that, then yeah, definitely take advantage of it. But anyways, that's all the information that I've got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. And that right there is the top 10 best money-making methods in Grand Theft Auto Online for 2018. If you guys have any other money-making methods that you think would be awesome to add to this list, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. We like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.